Now, okay, we have talk about two situations, right? Remember, we now talk about what? We are now talking about the causes of invalidity, okay, on the ground of the impropriety or vitiation of will, and we talk about the situations where the will of the party may not be genuine or may not be free, okay, and we have talked about, the situation which is known as the hidden intention, and the situation which is known as the fictitious intention, okay. Now we come to the next one, fictitious intention, which is aimed at concealing another juristic act. If you want to know Thai word, I put it in parentheses for you, okay. Well, it is something linked to the situation which we have talked about a while ago, but the difference is that in this case, okay, there is one more thing, that is the fictitious intention which is declared is intended to conceal another juristic act. Okay, it is intended to conceal another juristic act. That means that there are two juristic acts. Again, maybe in order to trigger your easy understanding, okay, I think that we can just begin with this diagram. Let's suppose that we have, okay, A is the father. Okay, are you the father? Okay, A is the father. A has, the more than one child. Okay, A has children. Okay, and he wants to, let's say, he has a house or he has a car. He wants to give this car to B. B is his youngest son. When a father gives some property to one child, other child may get jealous, right? Are you jealous? When your father gives, let's say, that a big car to your sister, your elder sister or younger sister, will you get jealous? Yes, right. You are extremely jealous. Okay, so when your father gives the car to your elder sister, you scream because but you say, well, Dad, why don't you give this to me as well? I need this car as well. Okay, what you are so unfair. You give the car to the sister, the elder sister, without giving this car to me. That's why the father is in trouble. The father is sort of this very difficult situation. Okay, because if he give the car to one child, then other children will get jealous. So in this case, A has a way out. The way out, okay, by A is this one. A does pretend to sell this car to B. In fact, he doesn't want to sell. He wants to do what? He wants to give the car to B. So what is in his mind is what? He wants to make a gift, but he pretends to sell in order that other children will not get jealous. So now that we have two conflicting the juristic acts, the sale and the gift. Okay, in his mind, does A want to sell it? No, he doesn't want to sell it. He pretends to sell it. Is that a fictitious intention? Yes, it is a fictitious intention, but this fictitious intention is aimed at concealing another juristic act. There are, in this case, two juristic acts, i.e., the sale, okay, and the gift. The sale is concealing juristic act because the sale conceals the gift. The gift is what? The gift is the concealed juristic act. Okay, so we have two juristic acts, the concealing one and the concealed one. The concealing one represent, in fact, the what? The concealing one represent the outward intention, but the concealed one represent the inward intention. Okay, now again we we deal with two conflicting intentions, the outward intentions and the inward intention in this situation. Which one prevail? The concealed one or the concealing one? The concealing juristic act represents the outward intention. The concealed juristic act represents the inward intention. Which one prevail? Again, you can see that, well, there is no need to protect B at all because Does B know from the beginning that the father does not have intention to sell? Does B know? Yes, B knows from the beginning, so that there is no need to protect B, right? In this case, there is no need to uphold, the concealing, right? The concealing juristic act. So when the real intention is what? To make the what? To make the gift, right? And both parties know this, then the law will have to uphold the concealed juristic act. In this case, if we want to apply the law to this transaction, okay, we need to apply the law on what? On sale or on gift? Okay, the law say that, well, when the real intention is the intention to make the gift, so the law on gift will have to govern this transaction, okay? We have to apply the law on gift here. So the sale is void and the gift is upheld. Right, this is the consequence in section 155 paragraph 2. 155 is the provision on what? On the fictitious intention, right? Paragraph 1 deals with the fictitious intention in general. Paragraph 2 deals with the fictitious intention which is aimed at concealing another juristic act. So 155 paragraph 2 says what? If you look at what the law provides, the law section 155 paragraph 2 provides as follows. If a declaration of a fictitious intention under paragraph 1 is made to conceal another juristic act, see? Is made to conceal another juristic act, then the provision of law relating to the concealed act shall apply. So now we will have to apply the law on what? Between A and B here. The law on gift, not the law on sale, okay? Because the gift is the concealed act. Okay? Remember there are two juristic acts, the concealing one and the concealed one. The concealing one is the what? According to this diagram, the concealing one is the sale, the concealed one is the gift. So we will have to apply the law on gift, which is the concealed juristic act. Right. This is something very simple, in fact. So we can conclude that in this case, the sale is void, the gift is upheld. Right. Now, right. When we say that the concealing juristic act is void and the concealed one is upheld, that must mean that the concealed one must not be void on some other grounds. Remember, we have talked about the grounds, the grounds of invalidity. There are also other grounds. Let's say that remember causes of invalidity. Okay, the juristic act may be invalid because of the what? Maybe because of non-compliance with the form prescribed by law. Okay, it may be invalid because of the purpose of the object of the contract. If the object of the contract is expressly prohibited by law, then the juristic act is also void. So when we deal with situation, when we have concluded just now that the concealed juristic act is valid, make sure that it is not void on some other grounds. If there are other grounds, okay, if there are some other causes of invalidity, it may be void on some other grounds. Okay, look at this example. In fact, this example has been taken from the Supreme Court. Okay, this example. Right. A has a piece of land. A has a piece of land. Right. And you know that means in this country we have some pieces of legislation which prohibits the owner from selling the land, okay, to another person. Okay. There may be some many pieces of legislation saying so. Okay. The land code as well. Okay. The land code say that, well, for some type of land, for some type of land, you may not sell the land to anyone after a certain period of time. Okay, in this case, the land code prohibits a person, okay, from selling the land within the period of 10 years. Okay, the land code say that we have, let's say A, okay, A and B. A, in this case, A has the land, and A is prohibited by law from selling this land for 10 years. The law say, well, A, even though you have this land, but you cannot sell this land to anyone else within this 10-year period. If you want to sell this land, you have to wait for the expiry of this 10-year period first. But they want to sell it now. He does not want to wait for, the expiry of the 10-year period. So does he do? In this case, what A did was this. A knew that the law, okay, prohibited him from selling this land. So he pretended to do what? He pretended to make a will. Okay, PInai Kam. He intended to make a will to bequeath this land to B. He said, well, I'm not selling it. I am making a will, to bequeath this land to B. I, transfer this land to B, not by way of sale. The law prohibits me from selling. I'm not selling. I make a will to give this land to B. In fact, he does not want to make the will at all. He just wants to sell, but he pretended to make a will. Okay? So he pretended to make a will, giving this land to B. In fact, what was in his mind is to do what? To sell. So I'm sure that B paid money to A because it was a sale. So in this case, we deal with two juristic acts. First, the will. Of course, the will is a juristic act. Remember, the will is a what? The will is a unilateral juristic act. Right? So, two juristic acts which are conflicting, the will and the sale. Okay? Just now, remember, we have the conclusion from section 155, paragraph 1, that, right, we have to uphold which one? Which juristic act? The concealed one. What is the concealed juristic act in this case? The sale. Do we have to uphold this sale? The will is void, of course. According to, section 155, paragraph 1, the will is void. How about the sale? You may think that, well, according to 155, paragraph 1, the sale is upheld, right? But is that going to be upheld? In this case, the sale was not upheld because of what? Because the sale, remember, the law prohibits selling this land to anyone else within the 10-year period. So when A, sold this land to B, that means that the purpose or the object of this juristic act, the purpose or the object of this juristic act was expressly prohibited by law. Remember, when the juristic act has the object which is, expressly prohibited by law, then it is what? It is void. We have talk about this. Remember in the previous section. Okay, if you make any juristic act, the object of which is expressly prohibited by law, then that juristic act is therefore void. So in this case, even though the sale is the concealed juristic act, it is not upheld because it has the object which is prohibited by law, which is expressly prohibited by law. The land code did not allow A to sell this land to anyone else within the 10-year period in this case. So when A did sell, then the sale made by A to B in this case was therefore void as well. So the will was also void and the sale was also void because the sale was, the sale had the object which was expressly prohibited by law. Right? So make sure, if you want to uphold the concealed juristic act, make sure that this is not void or invalid on some other grounds. All right. Now, well, this has in fact been taken from a real case which has been brought to the Supreme Court. Okay. Now, is there the need to protect the third party? Remember that if we just now, when we talk about Section 155, Paragraph 1, remember, when we talk about Section 155, Paragraph 1, right, which deal with the fictitious intention, okay, we have seen that the law also protect a third party who is injured and who acts in good faith. Okay. When we talk about the fictitious intention, which is aimed at concealing another juristic act, is there also the need to protect the third party? My point is that, well, is the second part of 155, okay, the second part of 155 paragraph 1 also applies to paragraph 2. Remember, paragraph 2 deals with what? Paragraph 2 deals with the fictitious intention, which is aimed at concealing another juristic act. Okay, we will have to read paragraph 2 also in association with paragraph 1 with respect to the protection of the third party who is injured and who acts in good faith. Okay, so the protection of the third parties who is injured and who act in good faith also applies to paragraph 2. It also applies to the situation involving the fictitious intention, which is aimed at concealing another juristic act. Okay, I give you example here. Okay, let's say again that we have A and B. We have a contract between A and B. What happened is that A, okay, he wants to ask B to keep his car for him. Let's say that A wanted to go abroad. He wanted to go abroad for his study, okay, for a long time. So A asked B to keep the car for A. Okay, he asked A to keep the car for A. So the contract between A and B is when you ask somebody to keep something for you is what? This one is called the deposit. Anyone know the Thai word, the deposit? You know any Thai word, deposit? What is that deposit? You are in second year, right? What is deposit? When, yes, very good. When I ask you to keep some property for me, okay, that is what? In Thai? สัญญาฝากทรัพย์ Okay, at common law, okay, they may not call deposit, they may call bailment or what? B-A-I-L-M-E-N-T, bailment. Okay, so this is just a deposit, okay, under the CCC, right? The thing is that even though A wanted B, okay, to keep this car for A, and this is the deposit between A and B, A just took this opportunity to show his generosity. He just pretend to do what? He pretended, okay, to give this car to B. So A said, well, B, I asked you to keep the car, okay? A asked B to keep the car for B, but A pretends to just give it to B to show that he is very generous. Right. So in this case, you can see that we have two juristic acts which are in conflict, right? First, the what? The sale. Secondly, first the gift. Secondly, the deposit. Which one conceal the other? In this case, A pretended to give the car. Did he have any intention to give? No, he wanted to ask B to keep the car for him, right? But he pretended to give the car to B. So we have two juristic acts. The first one is the gift. The gift is the concealing one. The gift is the concealing juristic act, right? The second one is the deposit. The deposit is the concealed juristic act. Remember, Section 155, okay, 155 say that 155 paragraph 2 say that, well, if we deal with two conflicting juristic acts like this, if we deal with conflicting juristic acts like this, then we will have to apply the law on what? The law on the concealed juristic act. So in this case, the gift is void, the deposit is upheld, correct? Okay. So when the gift is void, let's suppose that after that B just sold the car to D, and D knew nothing about the fictitious intention between A and B. D knew nothing. Is there any need to protect D? Yes, because in this case, if D was injured, because when B sold the car to D, D would have to pay the price. D therefore was injured, right? And when D didn't know anything about what was happening between A and B, D is honest. D acted in good faith, right? In this case, when D was injured and D acted in good faith, then the law protects D by upholding, okay, the contract between the juristic act between B and D. So in this case, even though the juristic act or the contract between A and B is void, but when B sold the car to D, who did not know anything about what happened between A and B, then D does not need to return the car to B or to A at all, right? The law protects D by allowing D to have the car, okay? So you can see that this is situation of the fictitious intention, which is aimed at concealing another juristic act. But in this case, it involves the third party. So if the third party is injured and it's honest, the third party is injured and has acted in good faith, then the law will have to protect the third party. D is protected by law and does not need to return the car to anyone here. Okay, D can just take the car, right? So this is the first part. Okay, we are going to have the break for a while. Okay, after the break, we are going to look at the situation which involves fraud. Okay, we are remember now we are in a session on what? We are in a session concerning what? Concerning causes of invalidity. We are talking about the cause of invalidity, which is related to what? Related to the vitiation of will. Okay, when the will of the party is not real or is is improper. Okay, then we have talked about many situations. We have talked about situation involving the hidden intention, fictitious intention, which is aimed at concealing another juristic act. And after the break, we are going to talk about fraud. And then after that is duress, no mistake. I don't think that now today we just have time talking about the duress and mistake. We will after the break we will talk about the fraud and the Thai law. And for the sake of completion, I'm going to also talk about fraud in English law for the purpose of comparison. Okay. Okay, now 10-minute break, and then be back to class. Thank you.